Hi, welcome to my video. I'm Jennifer Roberts. You're catching me either on my YouTube channel, True Divine 44, or my Facebook page, True Divine 44. Like, share, subscribes and comments are greatly appreciated on either or both of those platforms. Thank you for everybody who does that this far. I'm putting out as much free content as I can via tarot, alongside some of the videos that I'm going to be putting out there, just discussions, just opening up conversation, the way I see things, but putting out as much free content via tarot as possible to help support, guide and inspire people who need it, people who appreciate it. They are general, so because they're general, some of it might resonate with you, some of it might not. It might all resonate with you, it might all not. Excuse the hair, having a bad hair day, so the hat's staying on. Take what resonates, leave the rest behind for somebody else who might need it. So the day is the 18th of March 2020. Picking up on the energies around me, translating those via tarot, to bring to you to do whatever you need to do with them, with whatever advice that comes through that resonates with you. So for the 18th of March, we have the first card being the Queen of Swords. I'm going to do it a bit differently and show all three of the first three initial cards together. So we've got the Queen of Swords, the Devil, and then the Page of Pentacles. So just keep that in mind as I go through. So the Queen of Swords, you know, there's this feeling of the need for discernment, the call upon everybody to have discernment, to have clarity of thought, where there's a lot of clouded thoughts, confused thoughts. This Queen of Swords comes through with her clarity, with her discernment. She has wisdom. This Queen, you know, comes up when, you know, people are feeling the effects of everything that they've been through. You don't get to embody the energy of this Queen without having gone through some shit, without having had the need to cut some things out, without having the need to be quite what's the word, strategic rather than feeling regarding what works for you, what doesn't work for you in your personal life. So in your personal life, there is a need to maybe cut out some of things of self, things that you've sort of fallen into holding on to, ways of being, ways of talking, ways of discerning, in that they don't work for you. And maybe the energy's calling upon you today to recognize the fact that it doesn't work for you, and recognize that, you know, it feels like a foreign body. Things are changing, you're changing within, and it's okay to be this reserved queen. It's okay to step back from the group thinking and think for yourself. So she also does represent, ironically, a lot of what's going on worldwide right now, in this so-called self-isolation or social distancing. I mean, this Queen is, you know, the A star at, if you wanted to give a grade for social distancing, this Queen doesn't care what people think. She doesn't care what people say. If she knows it's good for her, if she knows it's right for her, then she does it. So you might be on that side of the spectrum as well, of like, you know what, actually, I'm going to work whatever's happening right now for good. And actually, I do need some time to self. I do need some time just with me, myself and I, to work out how I want to be seen, how I want to be respected, how I want to put myself forward. There's some growth going on, and actually this social distancing, this self-isolation actually gives me the excuse I never had before when I was rushing off to work, or I was rushing around taking the kids to school, or it actually, I can use this space and this time, this isolation for good. This Queen would be the best at using that kind of discernment to see through the initial annoyance, see through the initial disappointment at a situation, and see the gap in the market, so to speak, of where you can use it for your greater good, where you can use it for your growth and expansion. She's clarified by the Five of Pentacles. So there is this there's the overall feeling of feeling left out, feeling alone, maybe a little bit nervous about that because it's so different, you know, so used to being in big groups or so used to seeing lots of people out on the streets. Maybe it's a little bit frightening right now, and I want to say to you, don't be frightened, don't fear anything. Embody this queen. This queen is a warrior. This queen sees through illusions, and she, like I said before, she sees the good in situations where she can really milk the good out of any situation. So don't feel sad if you're feeling isolated, or if you're indeed isolating yourself. Try and see the bonuses in that finally you have time to meditate, finally you have time to exercise, finally you have time to decorate the house, whatever it may be, to give you some peace, to give you some happiness about the situation. That'll really change your energy flow. It'll really change the way you're feeling about everything. In personal lives, I'm feeling again like yesterday, there's a lot of breakups. There's a lot of realizing that things aren't working in relationships in particular. Now that might be because the physical aspect of this Five of Pentacles, in that people are being forced to spend 24/7 with each other in a small confinement, without being able to let off that steam, without being able to be around other people and get other people's energy rather than just the two of you together. So it might be that this will pass, and it's just something physical, in that you've been forced in a very uncomfortable situation for many to be together constantly. But on the other side of the spectrum, there is this energy of a lot of people, almost, it's taken some kind of crisis for those people to embody this queen, for those people to actually look at the situation, not with feelings, but with discernment, to be logical about situations, to be logical about relationships. And maybe it's taken that the physical aspect of this crisis that's going on right now to really highlight the fact that we shouldn't be together, or you have feelings for someone else, or you would just want to be you, and you can't be the you that you want to be within this relationship. So be kind if you're the one that's realizing all of that. Be kind to the other half, you know, because there is a lot going on right now, and whether we're together, splitting up, friends, not friends, it's time for support. You can always speak how you feel. This queen's very good at that, being diplomatic, without being hurtful, without making somebody feel so alone. So that's something to take into account for today for a lot of people, I feel. The second card being the Devil. Again, this speaks of this queen realizing the chains that have bound her for so long, the things that she's lived by for so long, that don't really reflect her, that don't really reflect the new her, whether you're male or female. The person that you want to be. These chains don't reflect that anymore, and this energy is causing you to have the power and the wherewithal to break those chains that have bound you. There's lots of this going on. This card keeps coming up because of, you know, the crisis that shall not be named, you know, is going on, because of the energy that's stirring up in personal lives. If we're using it for good, like this queen is good at doing, it's actually highlighting and showing us through the energy of this Devil card, of old constructs that just don't work, old constructs outside of self that sort of control life, make you accountable to them. They just, you realize, and you're seeing the gaps in them, you're seeing the flaws in them, and there's a real breaking down of that belief system in them, whether that be governments, whether that be churches, whether that be royalty. There's a lot of that going on. People are waking up to old constructs that they were maybe fooled into thinking were for them, and maybe they're seeing that they're not. And you know, that's a difficult and freedom causing process and on both sides. It's difficult to contemplate, it's difficult to get your head around, but once you do, the freedom that you feel, these chains that are broken, you feel like you can fly. So there's lots of that going on right now, and that's good. That is something that is really awesome, that is really good, that can be milked from this situation, and that people are embodying this discerning energy and seeing through things that really have bound them rather than freeing them, have held them down rather than uplifting them, have caused them to limit themselves rather than be limitless. So there's lots of that going on right now. Again, this could be speaking also when people change like this, when people have huge realizations about illusions that they've lived by, labels that they've lived by, old controls that they've lived under. When people do have this realization, it is a shock to the system. It can be a shock to the system for the person who's realizing all of this, but it's also a shock to the system for the person that is maybe with somebody like this, who is growing and realizing and seeing through illusions. It might be that there's lots of people right now that aren't sort of marrying up where they are in their growth, where they are in their cycle, and that could be very difficult in a relationship also, because it's if you haven't got eyes to see and ears to hear yet, it's difficult to even try and explain to somebody like that what's going on within you, how you're expanding, how you're seeing through things, because let's face it, a lot of the things that people like this see through, that's where the conspiracy theorists come from. You know, it's the tinfoil hat people, all of those labels that are given to that, because people are frightened of it. Sometimes people feel more comfortable bound up in these chains because it's all that they've known. It's how they've lived a lifetime. So there's lots of that. So be, again, understanding of any partners or friends that really maybe just don't understand what this growth period is for you, what this leveling up is for you. You are an individual. You have no... Yes, we have to be kind. Yes, we have to be understanding. But you have no obligation to stay bound by any chains, whether that be in a relationship, whether that be labels that you've given yourself, whether that be constructs that control you from the outside. That you are an individual, you are a queen, you are a king, and that you don't have the... It's an illusion to think that you have to stay bound. No matter how long you've been bound, it's an illusion to think that unbinding those chains, breaking those chains won't set you free, won't make you feel ultimately fantastic. It's like being on a drug. You know, you see through that illusion, you transmute it, you start to understand it, and then bang, there's that excitement that you're getting some of your divinity back, you're getting some of your power back. To clarify the Devil card, we have the Lovers card, so two major arcanas together. The Lovers card here representing huge decisions that people are making in their lives right now. Huge decisions into what direction they want to go in, into how they want their world to look. Huge major decisions into what to leave behind, what to take forward with you, what to let go of, what to keep a hold of, what to really go for. There's lots of huge decisions that really do change the direction of your life dramatically, for want of a better term, for good or bad. There's a real calling with these two energies to make those decisions that will break these chains that have bound you for too long. Go in directions that turn these chains to dust, that don't give you an option to go back to them. You know, make those dramatic decisions to and really think about it, to think about the outcome that decision will cause, and go for it. There's no better time really than right now. Take time to think about it, take time to be balanced about it. Don't give a triggered response. Give a balanced response, a thought out response. And we've got plenty of time, most of us right now, to do that. There's also the rebalancing here that's happening within a lot of people, where the divine masculine and divine feminine that is within each and every one of us, both male and female, is bursting out again and is taking its rightful position within people. That is, again, such a freedom-making energy. You know, feeling like you can fly energy, finally feeling those things that have been locked away in a dark cave within you for so long, feeling the power that those divinities give you, the divine feminine and the divine masculine, the action, the protection, the intuition, the feeling, and balancing those out within really does free you from any chains that have bound you in the past. The Devil card is really doing us a favour right now, because it's really highlighting these chains to us. It's really highlighting the decisions that need to be made to walk away from old constructs, to give them up, to let them go and go in a different direction, absolutely. The third card being the Page of Pentacles. So once you've let go of those chains that have bound you, once you have balanced out that divine feminine, divine masculine in those previous cards, there's this childlike energy, this excitement that can come through and that can manifest. This being the Page of Pentacles, you know, creative ideas start soaring through you, like pulsing through you like your blood does. Those creative juices are stirring in people, and although things might seem bleak, for the people that this resonates with, these are the people that we need to take community worldwide forward, because it's these Pages of Pentacles, after they've done all of this inner work, cutting out and rebalancing and breaking of chains, it's these people who come up with ideas that will take us forward in a better way, maybe take us forward in a greener way, take us forward in a way that, you know, gives people more freedom rather than controlling and limiting people more. These are the innovators. These are the people who can see the gaps, see what needs to be done, and really transmute that into ideas that we can physically use, that will physically help, that will physically enjoy. So that's a beautiful card. To clarify, that is the Wheel of Fortune. Again, keeps coming up. Making that decision to clear yourself of anything that's bound you and limited you in the past with this Lovers card. Making that decision turns this wheel in a way that you a direction that is exciting, really going into a new cycle with new ideas, with new creative processes going on within, new relations, you know, going on. This cycle moves. This is the flow part of the cycle. So where things might seem really tough and bleak for some, there's some people using this opportunity to really awaken their divinity, to really awaken their creative juices, and it's turning the wheel. And you know, that is what we need. These are the people that we need, because this feeds a very different energy into this wheel of fortune. It feeds a very different pulse, in that this is a pulse of togetherness. It's Aquarius. It's, you know, the feeling of this is very Aquarian, in that it's the community, but the thinking outside of the box, and feeling limitless, you know, going for any idea that we have, making it happen. And this wheel is just turning like a water wheel. You know, the energy that's coming through it is much more flowing, much more beautiful, much more creative, and it takes us forward in a way in our lives that is good. So from this ebb feeling, we're going to this flow feeling, and things that are good start happening. Start looking out for people around you that have these creative ideas, you know, how to power a home more efficiently, how to power a car more efficiently. Because right now, what maybe is meant for harm, what maybe is meant to halt things and maybe gain more control over the many, the people that resonate with this reading are the very people that change the course of this wheel, that make that decision and change the course of many people's futures in the kind of innovations that they think up during this time. Because finally they've been given space and time from day-to-day work, 9 to 5 work or more, to allow this inner process to happen, right down to the end of the reading, where it manifests physically into something that is awesome, into something that is usable, something that is exciting. So that's a really beautiful reading. It's good energy today. It is. Yes, I can feel the sort of niggly peripheral energy trying to get in and trying to distract, trying to worry, all of that. But it's just, there's something about today that has changed. There's something about today where the good, the positive energy that people are projecting out is pushing that niggly peripheral energy further and further and further away. And that's exactly what we need, because that's where we, in the middle of this energy, can come into balance, can come into harmony and bliss, and allow space and time for good things to happen from that place, from within. So I hope you enjoyed that reading. I hope it helped you, guided you, and inspired you to go forward with your new ideas, with your new innovations, and to go for what you want out of life. Don't limit yourself, you know, manifest the wildest dreams, because that's where all of these brilliant innovations that we enjoy today came from. Wild dreams. So much love. Be balanced and be whole. Mwah.